if you are familiar with history, during the time leading up to World War II, the Nazis bombed the Reichstag, which is the Parliament building in Germany. They did that to take power from the opposition party, and they blamed it on the opposition party. Many things, we keep seeing shooters and all this that are found to be conservative when someone actually looks into it. And the Republicans are yelling that it's the left doing it and they're the right that are doing it. The Nazis were right-wing nut jobs. They were extremely right-leaning. We need to look and open our damn eyes and see that the Nazis are the Republicans right now. It is time to stand up and have a new bloodless revolution like they did in Russia and take power from Nazis. The Nazis can no longer be allowed in our country. It is time to take back the illegal power that was usurped from our country. He did not win the election. We know this. There is a reporter who did a Freedom of Information Act request from all 50 states. A conservative or a lowball estimate of 9 million votes were taken from people who legitimately were allowed to vote, and their votes weren't counted. We know from the day of the election that they did not allow Martin Luther King Jr.'s niece to vote, and she was allowed to by law. So anyone who stopped her, and we have seen by newsfeed during the election that multiple service members who happened to be people of color had their votes contested, and they never got their mail-in ballots, which they cannot vote in person because they are deployed. You do that to a service member, you should be arrested immediately. You committed treason against our country. Republicans committed treason. They took away votes from service men and women abroad. They should be arrested immediately, and everyone involved, including Marjorie Taylor Greene, who her people who worked for her staff members have found to have done thousands of these criminal contesting of votes. That's probably how she got reelected, because people in her area, in Georgia, so many in Georgia where she won, were not allowed to vote. These people, we need a total re-election to prove that they can get the positions legitimately, with a UN guard to protect people and allow them to vote properly. Call in the UN and call in people from abroad, other countries, to help us, or else you have committed treason against our country, and we should justly have you tried for your crimes. That includes the people in the Supreme Court. They are not above the law. They commit a crime, they need to be arrested immediately. That is all of the Supreme Court justices, including Clarence Thomas, and pretty much the only one I can think of in the Republican appointed ones that might be okay would be maybe Amy Coney Barrett. She's sometimes voted for the right thing, but even she sometimes goes against legitimate justice and the law. They cannot change the law. They can interpret the law, but they're trying to go against the law and committing crimes and taking bribes proves them not fit. According to the Constitution, they are only allowed to be Supreme Justices as long as they are in good behavior. Arrest them, they are not in good behavior. And they should be sent along with Donald Trump. Time for Friday the 13th. If you're familiar with history, the Knights Templar were all arrested on one day, Friday the 13th of October. Friday the 13th, we need to arrest all these criminals, redo the election, and if they win the election with a just election, we have with peacekeepers, they can be released and allowed to serve their term, as long as they have some right with it. If that happens and they are innocent and we have since someone got in and took the security away from our elections, where somebody was let in to get into the computers with the one after Harris and Biden won, and then after that election, they got it so they could hack the next election. So we need to redo the voting machines. They're no longer able to be protected. We need new firewalls. We need new everything. So Elon Musk cannot get in them again, but totally redo the elections. We can have it so they're safe and protected. We have people going around to make sure people aren't being harassed or intimidated. We have military from foreign countries, so we don't have our people harassing innocent people like they were during the election. And no more contesting votes. That's not allowed. We just have everybody allowed to vote who is justly allowed to vote. And we restart the government. We need a new, I would hope, a bloodless revolution if the right is just, but they're already spilling blood. They're the ones spilling blood. We are not the ones spilling blood. We are innocent in this. We on the left are doing nothing. Every murder was a Republican committing it. Every attack, every drop of blood is the blood of the left. Even when Charlie Kirk was killed, he is a martyr for the left. The right has 0 martyrs because they are the murderers. The right are criminals. The right are terrorists. It is time for justice. It is time to come together and come to the conclusion. We must do what we must to protect our children from these people who the policies are directly from Nazi Germany. The anti-trans, anti-LGBTQ laws are directly from Nazi Germany. All of the policies are from Nazi Germany. Their words are directly from Nazi Germany. Their tactics are from Nazi Germany. Blaming the left for things they did, people on the right did, their crimes, is just like the Nazis bombing the Reichstag and blaming it on their left-wing groups in their politics. It is time to end this. And I suggest no more political parties. The individual should matter. Every vote should count. Do either whoever gets the most votes, or we can do what is it called, where you put 1, 2, 3, your first choice, ranked choice voting. Sorry, took me a minute. We can do ranked choice voting, or we can do simple majority, even if they don't get more than 50% of the total. Ranked choice voting would be good. And have as many people run. I don't have money. I'm not rich. I have some relatives that have a little bit. I mostly rely on part of on a barely above minimum wage pay, full-time, but not very much money. I work hard. I do what I need to. But I'm not rich by any means. I don't have money to run. But my policies are to protect people. I'm a hard justice believer. I believe in justice. I believe in making the hard decisions. It is hard to know that I could be potentially, because I would be in charge of our criminal justice system, I could be potentially somewhat responsible for someone passing away, even though it's really their fault. They're the ones who committed the crimes in the first place. But they could lose their life because that's the law. Like the law for Nazis is a death penalty offense. Piracy is a death penalty offense, as established during the trial of Adolf Eichmann. I know I am taking a lot of things onto myself, a lot of stress, and I don't really understand some things. I don't have a college degree. And I don't have any power at this point. But I'm willing to do what I have to protect my country. My name is Shelly Netzer-Edgerton. Like, subscribe, all that. If I ever get big enough to make money for this, it will go to at least, if I ever make real money, it will be part of my campaign money. I would love to be able to start a campaign, and I would love to run for office. And I would love to make this world a better place. The way the Republicans are making this world a worse place. I grew up in the best time ever, the 1990s, when we had Clinton as the president of the United States, the good times. Clinton, we had a healthy economy. We had a standing with the world that was high. And we were respected. Everything was so much better in the world. And we were trying to make things better in America for everybody. It's time to get back to that. Time to get back to when people cared about each other. When racism looked like it was getting at least a little bit better. It wasn't all the way better, but it was working towards it. Make this world a better place. And if somehow I can get on I think you need like, it's like thousands of dollars just to get on the ballot, just to open an account. I think it's like $5,000 so that you can use that to run for office. You need $5,000 just to open up an account so you can put your hat into the ring. And it's like all this money that you have to do each state to run. So I know I don't have even a couple thousand. So I won't be able to run as is, but who knows? Maybe me saying I'm willing to take the plunge will make people actually want to, like, help me. Let's start a party, a new political party, the Bull Moose Party, in honor of real Republicans, as in, like, Teddy Roosevelt era, who would now, under the modern way that things are, they would vote Democrat. They would be more aligned with the Democrats. Even a little bit before Reagan, the Republicans were closer to modern day Democrats. And actually, the Democrats barely moved. We moved to the left, but not that far. The Republicans just moved to such extremes. The KKK have become Republican because the Democrats kicked them out and didn't want anyone like that. We don't want Nazis. We don't want people who are murderers and criminals. I mean, petty theft ain't nothing compared to the murders that the left has seen from the Republican Party. People are trying to live. They're stealing to eat. We're starving. We're broke. We can't afford to pay rent because the rich are getting away with murder. Literal murder. It's murder if you can't afford to pay rent on and pay for food on minimum wage at full time. If you have a full-time job and you can't afford things like food, rent, all the normal stuff to have something to wear and have like at least a little bit of, money for furniture, for the basics, to have a bed and like someplace to sit and some chairs, like normal things, a refrigerator when it breaks down, a washing machine when it breaks down, your basic necessities. You can't afford for even anything to break down and get a new one. You don't have any money saved up. You can't save. You can't buy a small pack of cards, a $10 pack of cards, or a $5 coffee every week. If your vegetables cost a fortune and you can't afford to eat vegetables and have a nice homemade meal because you have $5 for a full meal, so 10 and you got your family, or to buy the food to make that meal, it costs $50 to get the same amount of food, like $10 versus $50 for two people to eat one meal. So you can't eat healthy. You have to buy junk food that when you can make a much better version at home, and it's not that hard to do, but it's cheaper to just buy pre-made food. You can get a meal for less. That is criminal. And the meal's got so many chemicals that it's killing you. This is horrible. We need to have justice for the people who are dying because our food, our FDA is trash. If it isn't in other countries, it shouldn't be in ours. If it's banned all over the world and we're the only country that allows it, we need to ban it. But there's so many things. Some of it sounds conservative, but is not. But I just want right to be right again. Make right popular. Make right as incorrect. Make America great. For the first time. It was never great before. It was on its way, but then people like Trump and the Republican Party screwed that up. We were on our way to being great. We were trying. And then the Republican Party happened. And that's why the world is not great and has never been great. Obama tried. Biden was doing a good job with what he had, but he still had to make up for problems before. It is time to make America great for the first time. It is time to put strict laws to protect people from racism. It is time to put strict laws that keep equal wages for women and men. It's time to have a good minimum wage. It is good to have everything be good and make everybody happy. It is time to do the right thing. Make the world a better place. It is time to look at the laws and the policies and everything in the rest of the world and take the best things and make them our own. We're one of the richest countries in the world. Let's stop giving all our money to these criminals that have so much money and start arresting the criminals and taking their money and putting it into making the country better, not worse. It is time to use the laws that we have on the books. Trust busting. No more monopolies. Pretty much every company's got a monopoly. They have to be totally separate, and the stocks must be split between multiple different people who are totally... No more stock options. In fact, close down the stock exchange and give everybody back their money. We need to end stocks. We need to make banks pay interest that is reasonable to how much they're charging their people. You can't charge 25% interest on a credit card and then or charge all this money and then then other people are putting their money into your bank and they get zero interest. You can't give them zero interest a year and then not give and then charge astronomical interest on people borrowing and then not charge interest on rich people borrowing and giving them astronomical interest rates for their money. We can't have it that way. We need to set interest rates for the banks. They can make a little bit of money, but they're making too much. And they need to have on hand more of the money that they are lending out. We need to go back to making them have to keep almost everything. Almost all their money needs to be flat out available to people who need to get their money out of the banks. We need to know what's going to happen if there's a run on the bank. We need to protect our country. We need to protect our banking establishments. No bank is too big to go under. And if they can't pay their bills, then all their properties that they are foreclosing on should have to be given out, because they foreclosed on a lot of properties and still kept them. So all those properties that the bank foreclosed on when they couldn't pay their bills should belong to the government for paying them and bailing them out. Let's make this world better. And the money taken from some criminal wealthy people, which is like at least 50% of billionaires, should be enough to make it relatively low taxes. And we could probably have enough money to end world hunger and house the homeless worldwide. We can do so much with that money that these people, they're like trillionaires or close to it, have stolen from their employees. They stole the money from the people who did work. Like, subscribe, watch my videos. I'm trying to make things better. Bye.